Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. Had a lot of questions about the Sony a6300 so far. A lot of people probably as excited or more as I am, although I'm pretty excited about the a6300. One of the predominant questions I'm getting now is, should I buy the a6300? I was going to buy the a6000. Or should I get the a6000 at a good price? In other words, the price has dropped, already starting to, on the a6000 because the a6300 has been announced. It's not available yet, not available till March. People are wondering, should they wait and get the a6300, or is the a6000 a good camera to buy right now? And this is a very good question, and basically it's a pretty easy answer. There's two main things that I think you want to factor in here, trying to decide 6,000 at a really good price, probably half or less the price of the a6300, or do I go for the a6300, the latest and the greatest with the newest tech? And the two biggies, the two main things, first of all, is if you're really into video, I think that the 4K ability of the a6300 is something you're really going to want to consider, and it may be worth it for you to spend the extra money on the a6300 just for the 4K. The reason here is because you want to future-proof things. You don't want to be stuck on a past level of ability. In other words, 1080 HD. If you're putting up stuff at 4K right now, you can know that in the future, when nobody's shooting in 1080 and 4K is like the bare minimum, then you future-proofed your work. So that's a good reason to look at 4K right there. The other big reason for 4K is it's just so much nicer file to shoot with. It's a lot more information. It allows you to crop in post and make it look like you've shot from various camera angles. There's just so much more you can do with 4K that you can't do with 1080, as well as just get a really nice file. Even if you just shoot in 4K and then output to 1080, it's going to be a nicer file than if you had just shot 1080. So that's the biggie right there, the first one. If you're really into video, then the 4K is something you really want to consider, because that alone might be the big thing why you would want the a6300 over the 6000. The other thing is that stands out to me, that's a biggie, is the a6300. Almost said a6000, but the a6300 is the first camera from Sony with a crop sensor that's allowing us to use that fancy Sony adapter that gives us full autofocus with all the Sony A-mount lenses. Now, we've had this on some of the A7 bodies, like the A7S Mark II and the A7R Mark II. I'm not sure if the A7 Mark II has it, but this is really nice because it expands the amount of lenses you can shoot with using autofocus. Now, of course, you could get a Metabones adapter. They haven't said, I don't think, whether or not it's going to work with the a6300, but I would assume it would, because the Metabones adapter that gives you autofocus works with those newer A7 bodies, and so I would think it would work with the a6300 as well, but I'm not positive on that. However, this is a big thing because you can get autofocus for the same lenses that you would with those higher end A7 bodies now on a crop sensor body from Sony, the new a6300. So if that's of interest to you, if you want to have autofocus, if you feel like I do that a lot of the lower end Sony kit lenses just aren't something you want to shoot with, not a great value for the price, then this is a big advantage, a big feature for you, because you've got that whole extra lineup of A-mount lenses going back a long ways from Sony that you can shoot with. Also, probably the Metabones Canon EOS EF adapter to E-mount is going to work on the a6300 as well, which gives you the whole Canon arsenal. Now, I don't know that for sure yet, but I'm assuming it will, because the newer A7 bodies work with that. I bet you the new a6300 does. We'll have to hear from Metabones on that. But those are the two big reasons right there. The 4K video and the ability to use that much wider assortment of lenses via adapter, either from Sony or from Metabones. I'll see if I can contact Metabones and get an answer on that for you. It'd be interesting to get an official answer from them. Maybe I'll throw it out. Maybe somebody from Metabones is watching this and you want to leave a comment below and let us know. Anyways, folks, what do you think? Do you agree with me that those would be the reasons you would buy an a6300 over an a6000? because the a6000 still has very good image quality, still has very good 1080 HD video, so it's a great value. And I guess that's the flip side that I didn't really delve into there, was if you're primarily a photographer, if you just really want photography for photos, the a6000 is a great deal right now. You can have the bodies for $400 to $500 if you shop around. So that's something that you really need to consider. If video is not your thing, the a6000 may be more than enough camera for you. With the caveat there of my second point that you're not going to be able to use what the a6300 does with that wider array of lenses using an adapter. But again, if that's not an issue for you, if you like to shoot manual focus lenses with what I call the dumb adapters that don't give you the autofocus, so you use manual focus, then that's something you can consider, because the a6000 is a great value at this price. Those are the two big things. What do you guys think? Do you agree that those are the two factors that you would look at primarily if you're trying to decide a6300 or a6000? Or is there another big factor for you that you want to mention? Leave it in the comments below. Let's have a discussion on why you might consider an a6000 over an a6300, or conversely, the a6300 over the a6000 and spend the extra money. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.